Call meeting order. And it is 1:41. Okay. Just trying to think of what we can technically do if we don't have a quorum. We can't approve anything.
Yeah, we can't change, but we can discuss.
We can discuss, but we can't make open discussion.
And discuss.
Yeah, I think we can just basically have open discussion. Trying to think.
So,
Well, just a minute now. Can we call the meeting to order without a quorum and discuss because we can't approve the agenda?
yeah, you can do you just can't approve the minutes, number one.
Yeah.
And you can't approve the agenda, but you can do the open discussion and discuss them.
It just wouldn't be an official meeting. So no, we're not opening a meeting. We're just.
I'm just making sure we're doing
We're just
it.
citizens.
We're just citizens discussing, how about that?
Yeah.
Want to say we didn't have a quorum, or we're citizens discussing, we'll still record it for perpetuity, obviously, and then we'll make a decision if it should go up or not, but. Basically, obviously, we can't approve minutes, we can't review and amend the home rule charter. Public meetings, 3 were held last week. It's a very light attendance. We had no one on Tuesday. We had 3 people on Wednesday. We had 1 on Thursday.
Oof.
Yeah.
Any repeats from the previous?
No.
Is that?
No repeats from the previous public meetings, but we did have, the one on the Thursday meeting was, I'm losing my mind as to what his name is. He was at actually one of our meetings here.
Okay.
Yeah. God, what's his name? For the life of me, I know him. He used to be a Cavalier County Commissioner.
Oh, Richard Flanders.
Richard Flanders, there you go, thank you. I for the life of me couldn't remember, and he had some very good input off of, he had actually gone through the document and talked with people about it and had some very good input.
Excellent.
And I got the people in Edmore were all people that were related to the school, because obviously they knew what was going on, and they had some very good input as well. So I mean, it's not, I was at all 3 of them.
Okay.
So it's not like we didn't gain any input or anything like that, it's just it would have been nice if we would have, I was kind of hoping that the whole point of it was a bunch of people would show up and try to poke holes in it horribly, so we would see where the problem spots were, so we could adjust them previous to having a public hearing on it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, that didn't occur.
Okay.
I guess I don't have a whole lot other than to say, and Rodney and I were talking about it before the meeting, and visiting with Richard at the meeting on Thursday as well. I don't even know if I'd say it's a concern, but the main thing, it's come up in my mind too, is 2 different things, I guess, in my thought process. Number 1 is on the initiative and the referendum, do we have the limit set high enough so it's hard enough to do it, so somebody can't get enough signatures together and then try to do something crazy, hypothetically. Hopefully you would have enough people in the county at that point, once it gets on the ballot, that would go, this is a bad idea, but are the limits set high enough so that we're not having to, I don't know what the word would be, not defend, but, have discussions about something that maybe isn't even a thing that should be looked at possibly.
Yeah.
And the second one to me would be, and I was actually going to pull numbers on it, but I haven't had a chance yet, was, say for instance, and I don't know if this is a negligible thing or if it's something that is, I don't think it's something that should kill the home rule, but if somebody says, we're going to put a countywide sales tax on, and it's going to be for something that maybe benefits one portion of the county more than another portion of the county. Obviously, by far the biggest portion of that sales tax collection is going to come out of the town of Devil's Lake. But say somebody decides to do it to build a wellness center or something in Devil's Lake, you'd be collecting taxes in Edmore and Webster and all these other little towns to help pay for something in Devil's Lake.
Yeah.
So is there a way that the charter could be written so that that doesn't occur, 1, or 2, how negligible is it, how big is the sales tax collection there if you're putting on another $0.25? It's pretty minor, I know. But it's something that ran through my mind. because I don't even know what the sales tax collection difference is. I once saw the numbers and it's pretty, I think all of the sales tax collected in Edmore was like $9,000 or something like
Yeah.
that. It was a pretty minor number. So 1/4% probably would. And my argument would be to a point that it's not ideal, but if you look at how we levy property taxes and the things that we have to pay for that generally benefit Devil's Lake far more than the county as a whole, we derive property taxes from Hamden and Edmore and every other place that already pay for things that don't benefit those areas. At least not as much as they should, and they far more benefit Devil's Lake. The main example would be the library.
I still think that's the perfect opportunity to do something where you got a distributed requirements in there.
I know it, I just can't figure out how you would, number one, structure it so it's legal.
So it's legal, that's the
Yeah.
biggest hurdle.
And then the other problem-
Conceptually, I get it,
Yeah,
pretty
and
straightforward.
then the other problem would be is if you wanted to do something like that, you'd almost have to say, well, if we're not gonna put the sales tax on in those areas, then how are you gonna determine who's not gonna vote, who's gonna vote?
Run that by me again.
Okay, so if it's a countywide sales tax, but you're gonna exclude the towns of Edmore, Hamden, and all those other little towns where you would collect some sales tax, then those people can't vote on a sales tax collection. So how do you exclude a political sub? And I don't think legally you can.
Why would you exclude them from the tax collection? I didn't think that was possible off the get-go.
That's my point, is how would you?
So you can't exclude a political subdivision from a countywide tax.
Yeah,
So
so
then
you-
why was that?
Yeah, no, but that's my point, is so I don't know how you could make the distributive concept work legally, is kind of where I've been wrapping my head around it too, going, I just don't think.
See, I look at it as an idea of informed consent. Is you basically force, I mean, it's the same idea as the electoral college, you enforce the distribution geographically of the vote, so that you don't get a super concentration in one specific area versus another. It makes it more difficult to pass, is the effect. So like for example, for the referendum ones, say you have to have representation on your list from 85% of the
Oh, yeah, the township.
townships and political subdivisions. And as long as you have that 85% representation.
You're saying just on the signature collection?
Just on the
portion.
signature, so just that portion,
To make the hurdle
to make
a
it
little
simple.
higher.
So that way you basically make at least someone in those other areas consent to it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I just don't, I don't, and that's beyond my ability to know, I'm not a lawyer obviously,
Yeah.
to know if that's kosher with century code or not. I honestly have no idea.
Yeah.
But I get where you're coming from. Part of it too is you want it to function simply though too, so that people
Yes.
understand it, because if you make it way too complex, then everyone's gonna look at it and go, what in the world are you talking about?
Yeah.
And I don't blame them. So, but those are the two things I guess that I've been running around in my head, and Richard brought that up at that Thursday meeting once. You know, if somebody tried to go through the initiative route and, you know, got enough signatures for something kind of off the wall crazy, could they get it passed? And I said, well, I hypothetically, of course they could, I don't know.
Yeah.
My only, not even argument, but example would be that there's like 13 other counties that have home rule, and some of them have had it 30 years.
And
No one's had a big issue with that, and most of them have some type of a route to referral and initiative. You know, Cass County has one, and they've never had anything crazy happen with it.
Yeah.
Morton's only had it for a few years, but some of the smaller counties, like, you know, Williams and those counties, they've had it for quite a while, and nobody's ever done anything crazy with it. Most of the time, if it's, you know, something, it's usually something somewhat thoughtful and logical, and, you know.
I guess I was wondering, a little off the track of what you guys were visiting about, but because there was such low attendance to all three of these, and I probably to blame a little bit myself because I didn't really pay attention to the advertising of it, but was there a great deal of advertising in the newspaper or radio and so forth on it?
Well, it was
I never
on
ran
the radio,
across
because I heard Adam and Lucas on the radio.
Oh, I heard their coffee time, yeah, I understand.
We did,
But other than that,
other than
I
the
can't
coffee
say
time
that
that
it
you
has
guys
been,
did?
no.
I honestly don't know if it was in the paper or not, cause I do not get the paper.
Okay, thanks. Do you know, Anthony? if it
I
was?
didn't,
I get the
Even
journal,
recall I
but
had
I've
it
never
until-
seen it in there.
until I saw it on my
I get
schedule.
the journal
Yeah.
too, and I didn't see it.
In
so-
all honesty, I don't think it was in the paper, so I
Okay.
don't know, I'd have to ask Lucas, but I don't know if he didn't get to it, if he forgot, if he thought
Okay.
Candy was gonna do it and he didn't get to, I don't know what happened,
Yeah.
if the ball was just dropped somewhere, so.
Okay, so then I guess I'm wondering, because of the low attendance at the 3 that we had scheduled, how do we want to move forward regarding getting it out to the public like we had talked about? Do we continue to try to get it out to the public in another way? Do we draft it and put it out? You know, we could have one at the chamber for people to pick up and look at. We've done that with other things that we've done in the community, where surveys and so forth, where they can just pick it up and look at it.
Well, I guess my thought was, you know, if we're not gonna, we're kinda, you know, not getting down to the nitty gritty, so to speak, but we're getting a little short on time now.
Right.
To a point. So the next thing we're gonna almost have to do is say, we're gonna have to have another meeting of this board to set the dates, obviously, because we can't do it
Yeah.
Right.
ourselves. Have another meeting of this board as soon as is humanly possible to basically set dates for the meet, and then I would say we almost have to set the public hearing, and then when we advertise that public hearing, one, it has to go in the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yes,
Has to go in twice, and at that point in time, we say copies are available and make them available here at the auditor's office, maybe at the chamber,
Yeah,
also online, you can check the website, you can
Yeah.
download a PDF if that's what you like to do, and make it readily available for everyone to take a look at.
okay,
But yeah, we have to have as many different sources as it's humanly possible for people to pick up that finished document and take a look at it.
And I
before
think
the
we
public
probably should have one more meeting after we decide for just public,
opinions?
I mean, seeing as how we had such support,
yeah,
we gotta get it out before the people, I mean,
Yep.
if nobody's interested, how can we go any farther than what we are?
I guess you could look at it one of two ways, either think we're doing a fantastic job and there's nothing to worry about, or people is just a general apathy and, or they didn't know about it.
Yeah, and I'm kind of,
And I kind of
I think.
gravitate towards the people didn't.
I think I agree with you on that, Adam. I don't think they knew. And the ones that I spoke with about it had no idea
Yeah.
that there was any kind of a meeting.
And in all honesty, I'll take part of the blame too, because I should have,
Well, I don't think we're blaming anybody.
no, but I should have checked in on it too to make sure it was all,
I'm just
lined
saying,
up, but I
think
guess
there was a lack
I didn't
of-
think twice about it, so.
And it's really difficult getting words out to the public on. any
Well,
kind
and
of-
summertime's always difficult too,
yeah,
you know, especially a nice summer evening, it's always tough to, I mean, when I was up in Edmore too, there was people still planting and stuff, so, I mean,
Yeah,
so guys were out in the field like crazy.
Planting
that
and
day,
spraying
so
right
planting
now,
and
so.
spraying, and so it's just tough to get into something.
but
But now that we're starting to kind of clear that window a little bit, you know, if we can get the public hearing in probably that end of June, early July type time frame, then hopefully it'll be a little bit more, you know, should be well attended comparatively, because especially if we advertise the heck out of it, which we should.
Yeah, and just like once, you know, here's the meeting, here's the time, here's the place.
yeah,
Well, yeah, public hearing will just be
Yeah,
up
square.
there.
Right,
And we'll have to use probably I would guess the armory again, or if we wanted to use like the historical room downstairs, but I tend to go with the armory more because I think the volume is better in that room than downstairs. It doesn't echo so doggone bad over in the armory. That historical room downstairs or wherever the big one, that echoes so bad. I can't even hear in there.
And it's nice being above ground.
Yeah. Well, you get some nice windows and you get some nice light, and I guess maybe that means people will be looking out the window going, "What's this thing done? Let's get out of here." But yeah, I think that's kind of the next would be my inclination is, I think, you know, of the people that came to the informational things and I visited with, seems like everyone thinks we're on the right track. There's some tweaking here and there that still probably needs to occur, but everyone I visited with seemed to think we were, you know, had a pretty decent document overall. They really liked what we did with the sales tax collection, where we made it so it has to be If it's gonna be for something specific, it has to be for that specific thing, it has to state how much is gonna be collected, it has to state how long it can go for, and it has to state, and it states that it sunsets and it's done.
Yeah.
They really like that, and they like the idea of, if it's gonna be just a general fund levy with like a sales tax collection or something else, that you have to re-up it every, I think we have it written in at 12 years.
Yeah.
That's so the people are always gonna get a chance to vote on it again, and it can always sunset at some point in time instead of in perpetuity, there's just a tax sitting there. People really like that, so that's,
Good.
I think we're on the right track there at least. Overall, I think we're in pretty good shape, it's just a matter of, you know, just like I said, a few little things, and if we can get really good attendance at the public hearing, then we'll hopefully get some more feedback, some more people punching holes in it, and, you know, it's always good to have a lot of people in the room that have different opinions, because then you can hopefully get something together that's stronger,
Yeah.
so.
It'd almost be nice if we had someone who was like dead set against it, we could host a debate.
Yeah. Well, in all honesty, I think.
Or town hall specifically, between that as a panel.
Well, and in all honesty, I don't know how exactly, how this is all gonna function, but if the public hearing is held, well, when the public hearing is held, then we, you know,
Final edits.
finalize it after the public hearing, then at that point, as a committee, we'll have to make a decision. Do we wanna forward it to the commission with a recommendation to put on the ballot, or forward it with a recommendation not to put it on the ballot?
Okay.
And then at that point, the commission still has the right to choose what they wanna do as a whole.
And then the public.
And then if we decide to put it on the ballot, then at that point, you know, it's, the home rule committee is technically dissolved at that point, but then at that point, I don't, you know, I would assume that if anybody on the home rule committee wants to keep at it and helping, since we've had such a long process of putting this together, that would be more than welcome, I'm sure. And we're gonna have to do some more public type meetings as in the run-up from when it's decided, if, you know, if it's put on, until election day. And that might be a time where maybe you have a good, you know, type of debate set up, or, you know, just some really good public hearings to talk about what it can and can't do, and really try to, that's not, I hate to say selling it, because you're not selling it, you're just trying to inform the public as to what it can and cannot do, and then letting them make their mind up. But there'll be some more stuff even after all that goes down. But it won't be a huge time frame, because it'll basically be 10 or 12 weeks probably. So.
Okay.
This has to be to you by the 15th, I mean, by your second meeting in August, does it not?
Basically, yeah. I mean, we could always call a special meeting if we had to, if the work wasn't done, and I would do that if we had to, since I'm chair this year. Not that I want to do that, but, you know, get everyone kind of worked up, but, our second meeting in August, actually, it falls pretty good, because our first meeting in August is the 7th, our second meeting is the 21st. So it has to, we basically have to have that decision made by the 21st of August, then. It has to be to the commission.
In order to get it on the ballot.
Yeah, because the first meeting in September isn't until the 4th, and if I remember right, that's like only 62 days or something like that out to election. It has to be 64 days prior. So basically, that 21st of August is the drop dead date on if the commission's gonna, unless, like I said, we hold a special meeting, but that would obviously not be my inclination if we can get our work done before then. So basically, I think we're to the point where if we're comfortable with this, and granted we can't make any decisions today, but if we're comfortable with this document being the one that goes in front of the people, then I'll talk to Lucas, and we'll have to set another meeting date, hopefully fairly soon.
Like next week.
Like next week type of deal, yeah. Get a meeting knocked out. And then at that point, if we have our quorum, we can discuss maybe making changes if we want to, basically the same agenda we have here. Make some changes if we have to, and then advertise the heck out of it, or then set the meeting date for the public hearing, and then advertise the heck out of it so people can come pick up a copy or look at a copy, and then we'll have the public hearing and we'll see what the public thinks. And who knows, maybe they'll come in and they'll absolutely hate it, and if that's the case, well then we know what the public's thinking, and that'll inform what our recommendation will be, I'm sure. If you have a bunch of people going, I can see the positives and the negatives, well then at that point, that'll help inform our recommendation of that. And we'll see what the public thinks. Because I think is what it comes down to. Might be good, might be bad, might be, I don't know.
Good, bad, or otherwise.
Could be bad or otherwise. Could be indifferent. There's a lot of apathy out there too, so, unfortunately.
I'll let you know, next week is our Devil's Lake Fishing Tournament.
Oh, okay.
Not a good week for Suzie or I. We also have 2 board meetings, the Chamber and Tourism Board.
Well, I mean, I think it
So
could be,
the following week, the 25th through the 29th would work fine.
let's see, so we've got,
Well, the 28th is that achievement days out here for 4-H kids.
what day is that, 28th?
28th, yeah,
Okay, yeah, because horse show is tomorrow, or Saturday, excuse me.
right.
So achievement days is on, it's on a Thursday this year, huh? Yeah, so I'll have to do that in the morning too, because we'll be serving pizza again like we always do. I'll be gone the 25th and 26th. So maybe we could do like Wednesday the 27th or something like that. I'll see if that works with Lucas, if that works with everyone, we can do that
Yeah.
same 1:30, you know, and that's unfortunately 2 weeks from now, but it doesn't take long. I wish Candy was here so I could ask her how long it takes to advertise the public hearing.
My post has gotta be at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, that would be my guess.
That would be the minimum.
So if we're talking, we make the motion on the 27th, when to hold the public hearing. A week would be the 4th of July, 11th of July, so we could probably hold it that third week of July, somewhere in there, that 16th through the 20th. And that would still, at that point, leave us 3-4 weeks basically to still get that final draft done and have a recommendation to the commission. I think that leaves us a pretty good amount of time still. So like I said, we're not like to the nitty gritty down, get it, you know, but we're getting to the point where we've gotta get a public, we gotta get a public hearing in and then see where we go from there, I guess, would be my assumption.
Okay.
If you guys did, I suppose you got a copy, did you get one of Lucas's cover sheet thingy majors? And I'm gonna leave these copies here for now, this draft copy, and leave them out on the.
Is this the copy you had at the?
Yes, that's the copy that Lucas put together. And I don't know, in all honesty, when Lucas gets back either, so.
He's on globe trotting right now.
Yeah. It must be nice. I would assume it's gonna be pretty soon, because we've got a meeting next Tuesday, so. Speaking of, I gotta talk to him.
I guess the 11th of July, I'm taking up that day.
Okay. Yeah, well, in all honesty, you know, like I said, if it has to be advertised, like, it all depends on what Candy tells us we have to do, because obviously she knows more about that than I do, but I think it's usually, I think you're right, Ronnie, it's 2 weeks. So if we made that motion on the 27th, the quickest it could be in the paper is the 28th, or the 29th possibly. So then we're already looking at, the earliest you might be able to hold a hearing probably is like around the 13th of July maybe. But it would probably be that next week, just for safety's sake. So probably like around that. Let's see, we've got a commission meeting on the 17th in the evening. That would probably be a good date anyway, because the commissioners will already be in the building and everybody can come down and pay attention to it at the same time. So maybe that 17th of July would be a good day. And that Tuesday evening at like 7 o'clock or something like that. And we'll make sure our commission meeting agenda is light, so we can go, so the rest of the commissioners can come over and watch and ask questions if they have them at that point as well. And we're gonna, let's see, yeah, we got a meeting on Tuesday, so I'm gonna leave these, what we have for drafts now, so all the commissioners have copies too, so they can look at them, because they've been curious about it as well, obviously, so.
Great.
So that's kind of what we'll look at, I guess.
So what did I say, 11th of July?
Yeah,
and-
you said the 11th you're gonna be busy, but I would think that the next week after was.
I'm thinking too that week, I have to go back. If I'm there on the 11th, I gotta go back a week later.
Just that same day, the 18th then?
Yeah.
Week after, okay. Well, we can make those decisions, you know, like
Well,
I
I
said,
mean, I guess not that I have to be here because.
no, but we'd like to have you here.
Mm-hmm.
That comes down to, again, I'll talk with Lucas and see if we can set a meeting for the 27th, and then we'll, shoot you a letter out and shoot it out to email to everyone, make sure that 27th will work. And then we can get a date set that day, but I think the 17th would work, at least in my mind, I think that's a pretty good date. And then that still gives us, where are we at here? 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, it gives us a month to do a finished draft and make a recommendation. I think that's, I would foresee after the public hearing, unless there's like some major changes we need to make, I don't foresee why it would take more than one meeting to make changes and and then vote to make a recommendation anyway. And then at that point, then that'll be be the end of it. We'll figure it out.